Hello everyone and welcome back to the Football Zone Podcast. A little bit of a change up of scenery for the New Year podcast.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everyone.
Exactly, yeah. Have a lovely New Year. Premier League football's back, but before we get to that...
Sad news going into the new year of Pele's passing in the world of football. It's
3 World Cups from Peel.
3. Well, he's part of one of the best teams of all time in that Brazilian side, wasn't he? So
yeah. Undoubtedly.
It's very sad news. Get to go upstairs and play with Maradona now. So
that tweet. I remember you telling us about that tweet. Posted a little TikTok about it as well.
Yeah. But on lighter news, like you say, Premier League football's back now.
Yeah, Premier League is back.
Obviously we enjoyed the World Cup. Argentina and Messi came out as winners, like both of us predicted, which was very nice to see.
So that's our predictions video, all sorted and done, because we are the best predictors there is.
Yeah, I mean, I predicted Serbia as underdogs and they got knocked out in group stages, but we will move on from that.
I said Uruguay didn't really go down that well.
Oh, well.
So, instead of World Cup predictions, let's do our Premier League predictions. We've got them up here.
What we said at the start of the season.
Can you quickly get up what it currently is as well?
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to flick between the both?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so... we said that the bottom... we'll go through the bottom 3, and we'll just skip through, 17th. It doesn't really matter too much about, We'll actually, we'll do 17th.
No, we'll go through them, just because things are going to chop and change.
Yeah. But my bottom 3 were Bournemouth, Forest and Everton. What have you got?
Bournemouth, Southampton and Everton. We had this debate about whether, at the start of the season, whether Southampton would get relegated or not.
Yeah.
And I said it was Southampton are just one of those teams who have been in the Premier League too long and flirted with relegation for too long now.
Mm-hmm. And it was like Burnley last season, I think.
Yeah,
Burnley had it coming. As much as I like Sean Dyche, he's a quality manager. I mean, he was in the European positions at one point with Burnley.
Yeah,
I remember them putting
But it was the same with Southampton when Southampton with Pochettino and they had that amazing side were pushing, and it just comes to a time where you just turn into a feeder club and you lose all your players.
That kind of happens if you don't have that big backing. It's happened in Leicester City, we can see as well.
Yeah,
they're becoming a bit of a feeder team as well. They went and won the Premier League. I mean, obviously it was a shock win and they weren't expecting it, but then they did put some form of financial backing into them. But then you can see over the years how they're slowly starting to... I mean, obviously with the death of their owner.
But with that though, they've just built the state-of-the-art new training ground as well.
Yeah,
which
but they also aren't really backing the sort of manager in the transfer market.
No, they're not, because
you'd expect.
barring signing the new centre-half, because Fofana got sold and the summer they signed nobody.
I mean, they also have an unreal amount of money, let's just be honest. They've got the Maguire money. They're going to get Maddison money. They got Fofana money. They've got...
they should have got Tielemans money, because they should have sold him in the summer, realistically.
I don't even know if Arsenal are going to want Tielemans anymore.
Why, there's the point of they don't really... Why, they could, because I said
Why
they could
upset the midfield that they currently got, and they have backups.
But they don't really have the level of quality backup as Tielemans would bring, because you would bring, obviously you start Xhaka and Thomas Partey,
but they are working so well together.
But then you bring on Lokonga, who I really like him, but he's still young, and that's it for natural centre mids.
Yeah,
because Zinchenko can come in there, but again. But then you bring Fabio Vieira, who's a number 10 naturally. He drops back. Well,
but Martin Odegaard as well. He can play centre mid as long as he's got someone like Thomas Partey.
Yeah, I think with Odegaard dropping into centre mid, it would work better if you have 3.
Yeah.
Rather than him being.
I mean, you can play Lokonga and Partey and then have Odegaard. But anyway, back to that's the sort of rant we go on. Anyway, back. So it was Everton. So Bournemouth, Forest, Everton. What is the current bottom 3?
Southampton are bottom. Forest and Wolves.
Oh wow. So where have you got? So it's Southampton, Forest and Wolves. Where have you got where have you got those 3 respective teams?
Southampton, I got finishing 19th. I've got Wolves 9th.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Forest to finish 16th.
So I had Wolves to finish 12th. Southampton to finish 14th. But I've got the Forest prediction right so far. I've got Forest at 19th.
Yeah, I mean, again, we had this debate on. I still think Forest will
kick on.
Yeah. Because unlike any other Premier League season, you've had a World Cup stuck in the middle of the season. And with that, Steve Cook, that's the manager's name, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Cooper, sorry. Cooper. Steve Cook's a Bournemouth centre-back. Anyway, Cooper has had an extra 5 weeks with his squad. Yeah. And if he's any decent of a manager, surely they've got to kick on from the point where they're at.
We also saw with the teams coming back from the World Cup, all top 9 teams barring Tottenham have won their opening games.
And Tottenham struggled in there because they drew to Brentford. And I said that, like, when we went for the World Cup, I said that Tottenham would struggle for the rest of the season.
The thing is, though,
unless they sign.
City have got had a lot of players out in the World Cup. I think they had the most of any.
Is it 14 or 16?
I think it might have been 16. I think they had the most out of any club in the world.
Which I'm not surprised because City are.
It might have been Barcelona who had the most because, like, obviously got that many Spanish players in the world.
Yeah.
But I think it was Barcelona had the most in the world. But Man City were up there. I think they had the most in the Premier League. I think they had 16.
Yeah.
I think Man U had like 14 or something like that.
Yeah.
But still, Tottenham. You can just tell there's a bit of cluelessness in the sort of way of attacking. You could see it in the first half. They had no clue how to counter the press of Brentford and pass through the press as well. They didn't know how to break the press. They didn't know how. They had nothing to answer for it. And I can't remember if Benatar, whatever the hell his name is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he was playing. I can't remember.
Bentancur,
that's the one. I can't remember if he was playing, but he's normally that man who can take it past 2 players and break that press. He's got the confidence. And I said in a TikTok video where I was like naming players, team of the season so far, and he was my Tottenham's player of the season because, well, on occasions when I was watching them, he was the one that was breaking that press because they were so negative and sat so deep. I feel like him personally is so pivotal to that Tottenham side because they're just so negative.
Yeah, I don't think Spurs have a way that they want to play.
Yeah. I don't know if that's with like players that they've got though, but like they've got an amazing side.
They do have some quality players. I think obviously I did the video on TikTok. We keep referring back to TikTok, but
yeah, we make a lot more content on there.
Yeah, whereas deciding on players that each club should sign in the Premier League.
Yeah,
and Spurs, I struggled with it because they've got quite a few positions that they need to sign for, but my main one was at the back, centre backs.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like they're really, really poor.
You saw it in that game against Brentford, and to be fair, to one time that I actually agreed with the commentators, Dyer was just Dyer.
Yeah, but you've got Ben Davies start game in, game out.
Yeah, Romero is a quality centre back.
If you're a top 6 side, which I don't know how Spurs ever got into that name of being a top 6 side, but Ben Davies, Eric Dyer, Romero's decent, but I have my opinion on Romero. And then who else have you got really? You've got Longley, who's on loan for Barcelona, which granted they'll probably sign on a permanent, but he's not that great. Nothing special.
He's not that great. You watched him against Newcastle and we absolutely had so much fun down that right hand side because he was playing in that left centre half.
Yeah.
And we had so much fun, and that was the reason why Almiron scored that goal, is because he took the ball off their left back. I can't remember who was playing left back at the time, and then just breezed past Longley. And then Longley put up no fight.
Yeah, but then on the video that I put out on TikTok, a lot of Spurs fans was talking about the need wing backs, and I was just like, yous do, but I would go centre backs before you think about wing backs, because you can stick Perisic at right wing back or Lucas Moura if he doesn't leave for Brazil at right wing back. who are you going to drop into centre back?
The thing is though, I think they're really wrong. You've got Matt Doherty, who's an incredible right wing back.
He was at Wolves, yeah, he was.
And if you've got Perisic, who, yes, granted that Inter Milan was a more advanced left wing back in terms of playing a lot higher. In that system that Conte played at Inter was a lot higher. And for some reason, he's not adopting that in the Premier League. He's playing such a negative way.
I really like Sessegnon though at left wing back. I think he's really good.
He's very progressive. And I'd say play Sessegnon left wing back.
And Perisic right.
He's not in Perisic, Doherty.
Or Doherty.
So then you can have Doherty as a more defensive right wing back.
Yeah.
Than Sessegnon.
And Sessegnon kicking on.
And then if you're watching how Michael Carrick's playing. If you really want to drop that into a 4 at the back when you go into attack, Doherty can play right back.
Right back.
Dier and Dier and Romero centre backs, and then Ben Davies at left back.
Yeah.
And that allows Sessegnon to be more progressive up front.
Yeah.
Or going through the wing, and then you sort of Sons and Kulovetsky can play in that channel in between the left back and the centre back and the right back.
Well, that's where they do best. But we'll go. What was your prediction from 17th to, we'll do 12th?
So I got
17th to 12th.
17th Villa, 16th Leeds, 15th Brentford, 14th Southampton. What did you say, 12th?
Yeah.
13th Brighton and 12th Wolves.
Got Brentford, Forest 16th, Villa 15th, Leicester 14th, Leeds 13th and Fulham 12th.
So what is the current?
You've got Everton is 17th, West Ham is 16th,
which
is absolutely.
And West Ham 8th,
which is mental. You've then got Leeds are 15th, Bournemouth 14th, Leicester 13th, and Villa are 12th.
Villa in 17th. They were so quiet off of those ones. With you predicting Leicester, you had Leicester. Where did you have Leicester?
I had Leicester to finish 14th and they're currently sat 13th. So
I had Leicester 11th, but you did say that if they didn't... I mean, they did pick up form, and I think I think one of the commentators said on Boxing Day, Leicester and Newcastle were the teams going in with the best form from October. So Leicester were picking up form.
And then they hit the brake.
The start of the season was a massive struggle for
them.
But
I said if they lost one of 3 of Fofana, Tielemans and Maddison, they would struggle.
Yeah.
They lost Fofana, instantly struggled.
Yeah. But they are starting to pick up form. Yes, granted, they actually got walloped by Newcastle on Boxing Day.
To be fair, I watched that game as well, is Leicester had more of the ball. They just couldn't create chances.
And they had no quality up top. They just had nothing.
But obviously they didn't have Maddison on the pitch, which goes to show if they lose Maddison
to us,
to likely use.
Yeah, let's just be honest.
Is they've got nobody who's creating chances.
Yeah, that's where they need to dip into the market again.
And used played well in part. I wasn't fully impressed with the entire performance, but you took your chances. Which is all the football's about, but you just took your chances. Leicester had more of the ball, they just couldn't create anything. Partly because they didn't have any options. Going forward, like Tielemans would pick up the ball and he would have nothing going forward. And it's scary thought for them is if they lose Maddison, then what they're going to do.
Yeah. And I would not mind Maddison at my football club.
I take Maddison to Liverpool, I'm not going to lie.
He's one of the most creative English players.
He's tremendous. He's tremendous on both feet. But Leicester keep using him as a right midfielder. And because
they've got no
again, to my video on TikTok, I said that Leicester need a winger.
Yeah.
I think I said Jeremy Doku.
I mean, he would be a good player. But did he play?
He plays in what?
Did he play Burnley?
No, he plays in Belgium.
Who am I thinking of?
The lad who's on loan from Southampton, who I said Southampton should re-sign.
Yeah, I actually watched the Burnley game. I think it was like 2 months ago, and he was playing. And he was just electric.
Burnley under Vincent Kompany in the Championship are playing very well.
Yeah,
very well.
So,
who else have we got in that mix?
I mean, I think we should just go on up further.
I mean, one point I'm going to make is obviously Fulham, I had finished 12th, and they are currently pushing it 9th.
I had Fulham 10th.
Yeah. So mid-table as well. A lot of Fulham fans peed me off in the comment sections of my TikTok. I'm just going to say that now. Right. You agree with this, though, right?
I do, yeah.
You're playing well with Palhinha and Reed in midfield. They play 4-2-3-1, right? You substitute one of them off.
Yeah. And
you've then got nobody off the bench who's a natural CDM.
Yeah.
You're then playing Kearney, who's a natural 10 in that midfield mark. Sign
Amrabat.
I said Amrabat, but I've got a feeling Amrabat will go to a top 6 club now, because I made that video before he started absolutely trouncing in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Sign another CDM / centre mid.
Yeah.
So you can replace and keep the quality, strength and depth.
Yeah.
That really annoyed us, but anyway. Right, where we're going to go from, we've got
10th.
Now we're up to 11th.
11th. I had Leicester 11th. Fulham 10th. Crystal Palace 9th. West Ham 8th.
I had 11th Brighton, Palace 10th, Wolves 9th, Newcastle 8th. Was mine. Which Brighton are doing well this season, to be fair to them. So you've got Palace are currently 11th, Brentford 10th, Fulham 9th, Chelsea 8th, Brighton 7th.
I had Man U 7th. Who did you have?
West Ham 7th.
So we both had West Ham particularly high on this list.
And they have struggled, which is mad because the amount of investment they had in the summer.
They've got some unreal players.
What did they sign? 9 players in the summer?
And it wasn't for cheap as well.
They signed that Moroccan centre-half who played really well in the World Cup, but he joined West Ham injured. Guard. Lucas Paqueta. Kiera. Maxwell Cornet from Burnley, who's been injured.
Yeah.
Alphonse Areola on a permanent deal.
He's a quality goalkeeper as well.
Who else did they sign? Signed a couple of others, but and they've just hit struggle. Why do you think?
I know Moyes has had quite a productive few seasons with West Ham.
Yeah.
But I think with this group of players, I think it's time to bring in a more...
Skamaka. Sorry, that was...
Yeah. I think it's probably time for a managerial change. I feel like these tactics that, if I'm being honest, I don't know what type of tactic he's playing, but I feel like teams have figured it out and they can tell going into a game how to break this West Ham team down and they know how to stop them.
What do you make of Jared Bowen?
I think he's a quality player. I think his end product is pretty poor. I think he can create chances and he can run. I mean, I feel like this is a lot of reminiscence of Darwin Núñez here. He's getting in the right places.
We'll probably just talk about
Darwin, yeah. But I just feel like I think it's time for a change at West Ham. I know obviously they had changed last time, went to Pellegrini, had a bit of success, then he dropped off, then Moyes came back.
Who would you bring in at West Ham though? What's a likely manager? Because obviously you've still got...
I mean, if you look at Michael Carrick, he's making waves in the Championship. It might be a bit too soon to bring someone like him in, but if you looked, it's his first managerial job, and he's took over a team that was in 22nd place.
Yeah. Playing awfully.
Exactly, scrapping at the bottom of the league. No transfer window.
Yeah.
Came in and changed the style of play with the same players, changed the mentality with the same players. Nothing's changed at that club other than the managerial and I mean we spoke to Craig. We had Craig on the podcast.
I was about to say that Boro's academy manager Craig, who we had on the podcast last month, he was saying about Michael Carrick and him coming into the club and how big of an improvement he's been behind the scenes. He
said like how much of a down to earth person he is, and if you look at like pundits and stuff like that, they all agree he is such a nice guy. Yeah. And you can clearly tell that he's working with these players well and he's getting on their side.
Yeah.
And you can see the results are paying off. And I watched, I think it was like a 3-minute video on TikTok of the breakdown of the tactics.
Yeah, I saw that as well. I know what you're on about.
And it's great to watch how they play. They play four at the back, and then they transition into a 3-5 something.
Yeah. Yeah, but on another Premier League side, who's overachieving to my prediction, Brentford.
Yeah, I had Brentford in Brentford 15th and they 10th. Did you say?
I had them 17th and the 10th. With Brentford, is going into the second half of the season with a lot of controversy around their main man, Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
If he gets a ban,
they're screwed.
They'll have to sign someone in January. I don't know who they would look at signing. It'd probably just have to be someone coming from the Championship. But
that's where most of their signings just honestly come from.
But they are going to struggle.
Or get Enner Valencia in.
Yeah, but he's top scorer in Turkey.
And get him on loan.
Would he want to leave? Because he's played in the Premier League before and he struggles. He goes play somewhere like Turkey and he's suddenly the best player on the planet.
You never know. He could just come and he could. I mean, it depends on the system that he plays in. He played at Everton, didn't he? Was it Everton?
Yeah, he played at Everton and West Ham and was very poor.
But that's the system that they're playing in.
Yeah.
He might play better in that system. At Brentford, they have sort of two strikers that play very close to each other and support each other a lot. With that Mbebo or something like that, and he impressed us in that Spurs game, giving Ivan Toney a lot of support.
Here's a question for you though, because we've listed off until 7th. Where did you have Chelsea to finish this season? Because they are currently 8th.
I had them 5th.
I had them 5th as well.
Yeah.
Chelsea on a major struggle.
Yeah.
This season, obviously, sacking Tuchel and bringing in Graham Potter
is the major sort of talking point of that Chelsea team now.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think Graham Potter is a quality manager. I'm just being honest. I think he's a quality manager and I think he's the right man for the job. Given that it wasn't his transfer window.
Yep.
I mean, and I don't think he'll ever have his own transfer window technically because, I mean, we know about Todd Bowley and how he wants to sort of
Graham Potter's been hired as a coach and not a manager.
Yeah, so we don't know how much
which is a difference.
Yeah, we don't know how much say he's actually genuinely going to have in transfers.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Bowley likes it is clubs in the NFL or whatever he has in America.
He likes superstars.
Yeah, but he likes to have majority say, but he likes to have a long-term project with a manager.
Coach.
Long-term coach, sorry. Like whatever team he runs over in America, their coach has been there 7 years.
Yeah.
So which is completely different to what Roman Abramovich was like at Chelsea. It was, you've played crap for 6 games, sacked new manager all the time. Which, I mean, they have had success off because they've won multiple Champions Leagues and Premier League titles.
Yeah.
But obviously, new Potter coming in now.
I think he's the correct man for the job, personally. I think he is a quality manager. I think he's the right man for the job. But I think just given time, and I think if he can be involved in that transfer process and getting the right people in, he's on the ground every single day seeing exactly what positions he needs.
Where do you think right now Chelsea need to improve their position in the league?
I mean, let's just be honest. Erling Haaland scored more goals than them this season in the league.
Yeah.
So we can identify which position they realistically need. They need a striker.
Yeah.
But Chelsea have always had a track record of signing a striker that has been quality before in other leagues, and they've been absolutely dross when they join Chelsea. I don't know what it is. There's a curse on that shirt. Give them a different number.
Obviously, they've got Aubameyang and Broha, but Broha's out for the rest of the season now, unfortunately, which he's good, promising young player. But I said, again in my TikTok video, I said Chelsea need to sign a striker, and I mentioned Tammy Abraham signing back, which I know would be very difficult to do in the January transfer window, but they've got a release clause on them.
Yeah.
A buyback clause, in the summer. A lot of Chelsea fans were saying that they need to sign creative players, and I was just like, you've got a lot of them. You've got Mount, Havertz, Sterling, Ziyech, Pulisic,
Kovacic.
Yeah, Kovacic. But if you get all these players playing for the reason why you signed them, for their creativity, then you've got a lot of creative players with nobody being able to finish them. So if you can get them playing well together,
if you give them a focal point,
the chances.
If you give them a focal point to aim at, which they currently don't have, then they're going to create. When you don't have someone that is that focal point, and you get no assists, yes, you look like you don't have any creativity, but in the actual aspect of it, if you're looking at the game, they're probably creating a lot of chances, but they've got no one to finish off the chances anyway.
Because
so
they keep playing Havertz as a striker, but let's be honest, Havertz isn't a 20-goal a season player, is he? No. He's a good player.
Yeah.
And he'll grab you 6-10 goals a season, max. Mm-hmm. He's not going to score 20 and be your clinical striker, is he?
No. But so 7th to, let's just do 7th to 1st, or 7th to 5th, or whatever. What do you want to do?
We've already done 7th.
Okay, so let's just do 6th to 1st.
Yeah, European spots.
So 6th, I have Newcastle.
Mm-hmm.
5th, I've got Chelsea. 4th, I've got Tottenham. 3rd, I've got Liverpool. 2nd, I've got Arsenal. And 1st, I had Manchester City.
I had 6 Man U, Chelsea 5th, Spurs 4th, Arsenal 3rd, Liverpool 2nd, City top. I know you're bussing to do this, so talk about Newcastle, because I had Newcastle to finish 8th, which I said finishing 8th would be a good season for them. And so they are having an insanely good season.
So Newcastle are currently pushing to win their first ever Premier League trophy this season. We are and have got the best defensive record in the league.
Yep.
And we only have lost 1 game so far this season. Admittedly, we have drew
Which
6
is to
games.
us.
Yeah. But you had 10 minutes of extra time to even score the goal in the first place.
We had 8, but that was because of your own stupid time wasting. But anyway.
Well, that is what it is. Let's just say the game probably should have been a draw. And let's just be honest, you had the better side, and we still should have deserved to get a result out of it. Anyway, so that's an extra point we should have. And we should have had 2 extra points at City, because, to be honest, we deserve to beat City as well.
Oh, well, you should have had that penalty against City when Edison wiped out whoever it was.
I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Maxi.
Yeah, I think it was. But anyway, what's going so very well for you this season? What's the reason why you are pushing so well? Is it the transfers you've brought in, or is it Eddie Howe, or is it another reason?
I think it's a culmination of the takeover.
Mm-hmm.
We had no hope. We had nothing at Newcastle, down to the training ground, to the point where we had plastic knives and forks and paper plates.
Yeah.
Broken things inside the toilets. We had blow-up hot tubs that had cold water in it. And how scummy the facilities were, that championship clubs had better facilities than us. Now, we've got owners that care about the club. We've got owners that care about the community. We've got owners that care about the fans. We've got owners that care about every tiny last detail. The owners, when they came in for the first week, held an award ceremony.
Yeah.
Bringing back loads of legends and stuff like that. And bringing a camaraderie to the squad. If you look at the Newcastle page, I mean, obviously you won't follow them, but they post a picture after every single game, win or loss.
Yeah.
They post a team photo every single game. It's just small little details like that. Like, it's the one to have to post that video. Like, yes, we've got the points. Yes, we've won the game. Like, we all see the same project at the club. We all want to go forwards.
Yeah.
And I think it's similar to that Mikel Arteta sort of situation. It's like I want you to see this one thing, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
I want us all to see the same thing.
Yeah.
And we all want to win games. We all want to have a clean sheet. You look at Bruno the other day when he tackled someone.
Yeah.
Celebrating if he scored a goal. That's how much it means to him.
Yeah.
There's people and people that I know, like Newcastle fans that I know, like, oh, I hope he stays in January. I think he's probably going to go in the summer. Are you stupid?
Yeah.
What reason has he got to go? We're currently challenging him for the title, in our first full season.
Yeah.
Under the new
owners, new manager, players, new concept,
and
move
fighting
forward
for a title.
Yeah.
In the first season, in this side, bearing in mind, has only changed about 5 players in the starting 11.
Yeah.
We've still got Chris Wood up top, and we're still scoring 3 goals in a game and keeping a clean sheet. Our back four costs less than Maguire.
Yeah.
I think it's 5 million or 7 million less than Harry Maguire. Our entire back four cost.
Yeah.
And we have got a better defensive record than Manchester.
Obviously, you just made the comparison to Arsenal, and I think the big comparison I make with you doing so well and Arsenal doing so well is you've got no main man and no egos in your side. Yeah. Everyone's willing to fight for the same cause.
We have an ego.
Maxi.
Yeah. And he's not playing.
He's not playing.
And he's not injured at the moment as well, you know.
But like, Maxi's an ego on the pitch, but not off it.
Yeah.
I don't think he would be a bad apple in the change room. I don't, from what I see. But if he can change his mentality and essentially his defensive work, which is his main thing, and release the ball a little bit more, then you would have a hell of a player for your squad going forward. But like I say, with Arsenal, they don't have anybody like that.
Yeah, they are a unit.
All their players track back, do the hard work. All their players pass the ball, move the ball. All of their players are bought into Arteta's system because one thing that they had, Arsenal, and the reason why they were always struggling, especially for the first 2.5 years with Arteta, is the egos in the side who didn't buy into what he wanted to do.
Yeah, I agree. And when you look at the teams that are doing well at the moment, i.e. City, Arsenal and us, and the top 3 in the league, we are units. We work as a full 11. We don't work as 10 players and 1 player. Yeah. It's a system that we work as, and that's how you get points nowadays. Yeah. You can no longer just pass the ball to 1 player. You can then that's what we were doing at the start of last season. We were passing the ball to Maxi. Because you praying.
You needed him.
Yeah, we did. And I've said it before.
Needed him.
We needed a player that could take the ball out of our half and had the confidence to stay on the ball.
Yeah.
Because none of our players had the confidence to stay on the ball. And now, I don't know what Eddie Howe has genuinely done with our team. Every single one of those players has so much confidence on the ball. And you look at players like Joe Linton, he didn't want the ball ever.
Yeah.
And now he screamed for it.
I think he's given them the license and the freedom to say, look, we're Newcastle, no one's expecting us to, push this high up in the league.
But I know
if you make a mistake, don't care. If you make a mistake and lose the ball, go win the ball back. Go win the ball back and go again. Just keep doing it. If you lose the ball 6 times in the game, I don't care. But win the ball back.
Yeah, and it's that, like, if you lose the ball doing the thing I tell you to do in the way I want you to do it, say playing out from the back, playing in these specific positions. If you lose the ball in that manner, I don't really care because you're doing the correct things.
Yeah.
You're just not getting the perfect pass, but one time you're going to get that perfect pass, and that time it's going to work, and that time you're going to score.
You just learn from mistakes.
Yeah.
You
can tell our players are doing that.
You don't learn from being perfect. You learn from your mistakes. So
and we made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. But everyone's learning.
Yeah.
Anyway, current top 6 is Liverpool, Man U, Spurs, Newcastle, City, Arsenal is the current top 6.
Yeah.
And I've already said it today, but I think Spurs will fall off. I don't think Spurs will get Champions League.
I think Man U will probably be in that position now.
As personally, I still think us. But depending on, it's the same with a lot of players. This is before the January transfer.
Need a centre mid.
Yeah, but this is all before the January transfer window. So whatever happens, these predictions can change again. But that's just what it's like with the Premier League. Obviously, you got Chelsea still sat in 8th as well.
Yeah.
To try and fight in that mix.
I'm looking at our list of sort of transfers that we've also put on this docs page.
Yeah.
And Chelsea signed 10 players in the transfer window.
In the summer, yeah.
They did lose a few.
They did lose a few, yeah, but
10 players.
Yeah.
And they hadn't have managed to really find a player that's genuinely doing well. I think Koulibaly is absolutely hash. I think he's awful.
Yeah, it's same case with... if he plays in a 3-back, I think he'd be alright.
I think he was hashing a 3-back and hashing it. We beat them. We beat Chelsea, and the reason why we beat them is because we're playing on him constantly. We knew.
I mean, Chelsea were unlucky with Fofana getting
injured, yeah,
a big injury, and obviously Reece James getting an injury. Mm-hmm. They've kind of rushed him back, and he's out for another month now.
Yeah. Which is so unnecessary.
Which was pointless. Which was really pointless. But signing 10 players and currently sat 8th.
Yeah, especially when you're a big team signing 10 players, that's a big thing.
Changing manager as well.
Well, they were the biggest spenders. They spent almost 300 million on the transfer window.
Yeah, they spent a fortune because they signed like to Cucurella for 65 million quid.
Yeah, he's alright, but not worth that much. Is he the most expensive fullback as well? He's now the most expensive fullback.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
So, let's talk about just the top two, Arsenal and City.
Mm-hmm.
You briefly mentioned it before. Like, Arsenal have no egos on that side, whilst Man City do have egos on their side. They're just very well managed and so well drilled by such a world class manager, and he knows.
I think everyone will buy into anything that Pep Guardiola has to say.
Yeah, I mean, he probably turned me into a world class footballer
because he's got the pedigree.
Yeah,
that Arteta didn't have.
But the thing
is,
and
that's why Arteta struggled with egos.
Yeah, but I think he's done the right thing though. Arteta, he had an ego in his side.
100%.
In Emi Martinez, and he had
Aubameyang,
and he went, you know what? I don't care.
Same with
I do not care.
Same with Granit Xhaka as well. Granit Xhaka was a massive problem at Arsenal, and I think the way that Arteta's handled Xhaka would have been the same way that you would have handled any other egos that you had in the side.
You're going to have to change.
Either change and listen to me and change your ways, and you'll stay at Arsenal Football Club and you'll play, or you're out the door.
Because he does not care. He probably should have said, I'll find a replacement easy for you. And I've probably got 5 listed on here right now.
And wow, Granit Xhaka has become a player.
And did you know what, right? That's the player that was at Borussia Mönchengladbach beforehand. Yeah. That's a player that was so creative.
Yeah.
That's a player that was so demanding for quality.
But I mean, everything for Arsenal goes around Martin Odegaard.
Yeah.
Because he's incredible. He makes them tick. If he wants to slow the game down, Arsenal will slow the game down. If he wants to speed it up, Arsenal will speed it up. Yeah. Everything goes around their 23-year-old captain, which is crazy.
At the end of the day, it's working.
With Ben White at right back instead of a centre back with Saliba and Gabriel.
He's quality.
Working brilliantly well.
Quality. You can tell that Arsenal are working in that same system as what Carrick's working in, because Ben White, yes, he can go forward, but realistically, you want to be playing down that left hand side with Zinchenko and Martinelli.
Yeah.
And then Saka, Saka, not Shaka. There's too many assets and stuff like that in that team. Saka can play a lot closer to the central striker, whether it be Nketiah or Jesus, and work off them more in those tight spaces.
Yeah.
Allows Zinchenko to be higher up and allows Martinelli to be further in that front three to be so compact. And at that point, the defenders are like, hang on a second.
Yeah.
How many players have to mark? Then there's Odegaard swinging the ball in from that side. There's Zinchenko swinging the ball in from that side. You've got Gabriel Martinelli sprinting at you. You looked at that West Ham game. West Ham, after obviously, I mean, it was a controversial penalty, let's be honest. It was a bit of a light one.
Yeah.
But they just had no clue how to contain how many avenues of creativity that Arsenal had and how clinical they were.
Yeah. I think with City as well, City and just the rotation of their defenders is what's incredible for them this season, because
it's ridiculous.
It doesn't matter if Stones is playing at right back or centre back, Ake is playing at left back or centre back, wherever, they just keep rotating and they keep the same standards.
Yeah. And that's what
all the time.
That's what Newcastle are trying to implement slowly. Is that versatility.
Yeah.
You've got Dan Burn that's playing left back. We had Botman playing left back at one time, but it wasn't for long, and he got put back in the centre back straight away. But it's trying to get as many players played in different positions as possible, so each player understands roles across the pitch. And you can see when we're attacking, Joelinton might sit one time Joelinton might sit one time and Bruno goes forward, and then Joelinton understands how to sort of cover an area and ensure that no counter-attack then gets brought across, whether it be... Willock normally bombs forward and is incredible going forward.
Yeah.
It's just that understanding of each other's roles. I think of what creates points and confidence as well.
And obviously, we as in Liverpool are currently sat 6th, and I said we finished 2nd.
And I think that's something that your team maybe struggles with a bit, as I think is understanding each other's roles. I think you've got very one-position players. You've got Fabinho that has to play CDM. Yeah. You've got Virgil van Dijk plays centre back. He plays nowhere else. You've got Joe Gomez that plays right back and centre back, but you've got Trent that can go play centre mid. Yeah. But realistically, you want him operating in those wider areas where you can put that.
But I think with us and our downfall of this season and why we struggled in the first half, bear in mind we are still only 14, 15 games into the season. Mm-hmm. But the reason why we struggled in the first half of the season is because, one, of massive injuries, but two, is trying to figure out a new way of playing, because everyone knows how we've wanted to play football for a long time now. And it's trying to adapt and change. And I was always confused into why we didn't change our tactics and our formation in the summer.
Yeah, you had so much time.
We waltzed into the season again. Obviously, we played every single game on the calendar last season. We got all 3 cup finals, and the Premier League went down to the last day and the last point again. But we went into the season thinking we can just continue the same way. And to me, we should have changed formation and tactics and brought in players in the summer, which hopefully the 4 weeks that Klopp's had away from club football and with a few players, because I think we had about 12 go to the World Cup, 11. Hopefully he's had chance to work with her, but the big plus point for us is we've had the chance to get a lot of our injured players back.
Yeah,
which hopefully they stay fit. You know, your Naby Keitas, your Chamberlains, players who a squad.
Chamberlain had to come off the other day with a niggle injury.
Yeah, but who are squad players can boost our ability coming off the bench. Obviously, we've got Diaz is out until the end of March, and Jota is still out to the end of Feb. But we've got Cody Gakpo coming in now.
So I've got 2 questions for you. With Cody Gakpo coming in, where would you want him to play personally?
Well, he'll play left wing because we've still got Firmino's out for a couple of weeks still. Well, he might be fit for next week, but we don't know. And we've still got Jota and Diaz out injured for a couple of months. So straight away he'll slot in on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Nunez up front and Salah out wide, which will come first. But the good thing and the best thing about Cody Gakpo as a signing is he can play left wing, right wing, striker, and as a 10.
That was what I was going to say. With his versatility,
it's brilliant.
It's a massive addition to your side, and I think it's probably a time where Salah can now start to be phased out of the side.
Yeah,
just being honest with you, I think.
Why not?
He's a player that is one. I think he's a bit of an eagle.
What did I say in the summer? What did we need to do? I said we need to. Everyone was criticising us on selling Mane. I said in the summer, Mane, Firmino, Salah, Milner, Henderson, Matip. I'm talking the squad overhaul we should have had last summer because we need one. Like, Firmino's contract runs out this summer and we're talking about giving him a new contract. And loads of Liverpool fans are like, yeah, he's a legend at the club, give him a new contract. He's a legend at the club. If he leaves, he'll still be a legend at the club. But it's time to replace and move on, because if we want to continue to compete with City, Arsenal, now with being able to sign world-class players, is we need to move on and continue to change and adapt with the movement of football, because we always have this thing where a player does well for us, we need to keep them.
Yeah.
No, if the time's ready, move them on. Bring new players in. It's as simple as that.
And if you looked at City, you've got someone like Raheem Sterling, which was a club legend, and still in his prime of his career, 27-year-old.
Moved him on.
Didn't Pep Guardiola absolutely idolises him?
Leroy Sané moved him on. Aguero,
German superstar.
Aguero at the time, he still could have done a couple of more seasons. Obviously, he had to retire after half a season in the Barcelona because of heart issues. But at the time, he could have continued. Gabriel Jesus, let him go. Zinchenko, let him go. Vincent Kompany would have been good for another season. Let him go. You know, when players reach a point, they go, thank you very much, you're a club legend, but it's time for you to go, we need to bring fresh in, which is something we don't do.
And it's that hunger, it's that's something that Arsenal have, that's something that City have, that's something that we now have, is that hunger and that desire and that want to win. And I think that's a lot less prevalent in your squad, with you winning 2 cups last season and keeping very similar players. And I think it's not a situation of Chelsea, you need to let 10 players go, bring 10 players in. It's a situation of phasing it. It's like, let 3 players go, bring 5 players in.
Dead weight needs to go.
Yeah.
And quality needs to come in as well.
Yeah. And I think...
Because we're still thinking about giving Navigator a new contract.
And
I'm sorry, right?
He hasn't deserved a new contract.
I understand the point that we're scared to cut our losses with him because we paid 40-50 million quid for the kid.
But you've just got to.
4 years ago?
Yeah.
And he has never put in a run of 10 games in our side because he's always injured.
Yeah.
Take the 50 million loss and get shot and get new players in.
You'll probably just get like 20 million from...
We'll get some from him from like a Dortmund or Bayer Leipzig or something.
Yeah.
But obviously our main point is we need to sign midfielders.
So
is a desperation.
You've signed Cody Gakpo. Yeah, there you go.
There's a key in there.
Yeah. So you signed Cody Gakpo, who's a versatile player. And I think that's the sort of vision you need to stay on with the rest of your signings now.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think you need to sign these one position players. Yes, I completely understand having a centre back that is a centre back. Yes, that's crucial.
Yeah.
But yes, with City, their centre backs were centre backs, but they just shift them off into left back anyway or right back anyway.
Right back, yeah.
But still, like, you need to sort of get these centre mids that can play and sort of go forward, yes, and then also come back.
Yeah.
Maybe play out on right wing. Someone like James Maddison might be good for you, but at the same time, I just don't think that's the player that you need.
I mean, I only said that because I really like the player.
Yeah, no, but I just don't think that's the player that you need. I think you need a box-to-box. I
mean, the players that I've listed in the past for us, after the World Cup, and likely in January, could be Amrabat, because he plays for Fiorentina, he's got a year and a half left on his contract.
Yeah.
He'd be a very good signing for us. Nico Barella for Inter Milan is a big favourite for me. Obviously, the big name is Jude Bellingham, who everybody wants.
Yeah. I reckon he's coming to put black and white on his chest.
I mean, Caicedo from Brighton.
Yeah, there's been
Brighton's quoted 70 million for him.
He's on $5,000 a week, you know.
Yeah, Brighton wants 70 million for him.
70 million.
But like I say, there's a whole host of options in the world that we could go for. Everyone knows how good Klopp is at moulding players.
I don't think Caicedo's 70 million.
A player who can play is a CDM, box-to-box, do the hard graft, good going forward, but we need 2-3 new midfielders.
Oh, yeah. Right, so with our sort of predictions rounded off there, let's just make a top 4 predictions from now and bottom 3 predictions from now. So currently in the bottom 3, was it Southampton, Forest and Wolves, did you say?
Yeah, Southampton, Forest, Wolves.
Who do you think will be the bottom 3 come end of season?
Southampton. Easy. Southampton. I'm gonna go same as I had, you know.
Yeah.
Southampton, Bournemouth, Everton. I know Bournemouth are currently 14th, but I think they'll drop off.
Yeah. I mean, you saw it. They played the other day. They got beat off Chelsea, didn't they?
I mean, at the end of we still got majority of teams 23 games left of the season.
Yeah,
you've got to think about that.
Yeah, you've got a long time left. We're not even halfway through the season.
I was going to say, like everyone always says, this is a halfway mark of the season. It used to be without a 5-week break. This is not halfway through. This is the time period where you go, right, 14 games in. Now you can kind of look at where squads and how good they are and going into January.
Yeah. So my bottom three, I'm actually going to go Southampton finished last, Forest, and then I don't think Everton are going to get relegated. I think it will be Leeds.
Leeds?
So Southampton, Forest, Leeds are my bottom three.
I'm just sticking with Forest staying up just because it was bold at the start of the season and it's even bolder now. So I'm just keeping it.
The least creative team in the world.
Just keeping it. Top four?
Top four, I think Arsenal will be crowned champions.
Arsenal win the league?
Yeah, I think City will come second. I think...
Nice.
I think Man U will come third, and I think Newcastle will be fourth.
Arsenal will be champions. City, Liverpool, Newcastle.
So we've both got Newcastle to get Champions League.
Yeah, which I did say this a few days ago that this was before the Premier League kicked off again. That there could be the potential of Hughes lose a few games. Yeah. But like I say, when I watched Hughes play against Leicester, Hughes didn't play well and you still beat them 3-0. And Hughes did not have a good performance, let's be real.
Yeah, no, we didn't play exceptional, but I think
which is the making of a very good side. If you can play crap, the opposition be better, and you still beat them, not even 1-0, 3-0.
Yeah,
it says a lot about a side. But all of this has got a lot to do with potential of what happens in January. Funny thing, obviously you've mentioned Man U. Their main position they need to sign in January is a striker. And have you seen what the links are? Eric Ten Hag came out and said in an interview that he wants, what they're going to get is an experienced striker on loan.
I mean, that's all they can afford at the moment with the potential of a takeover. I don't think...
I mean, we're the same though, we're in...
Yes, but...
Take overboard.
You've got a lot of club cash. Man U do not have any club cash at the moment. They've spent all their club cash. And if people don't know, you don't just pull the money out of the pockets of the owners, as some may think. That's what you just pull the money out of. It's the income from the club. You spend the club's
Do you think
money.
Felix will join the Prem?
I think genuinely, I think he'll go to Man U.
Man U,
but not in January. I think in summer.
Apparently, Man U are scared to pay it because Felix on loan is the likelihood.
Yeah.
In January, they want like a $6 million loan fee, and Man U don't want to pay it. Apparently,
$6 million.
Yeah, $6 million loan fee. Apparently, Man U don't want to pay it. Felix scored last night in La Liga as well.
I'd pay that personally.
Yeah, I would as well.
I mean, not personally, but if I was a Manchester United owner, I'd pay $6 million for him. So we both have Arsenal to win the league. Other sort of news. Slash not news, but a topic of conversation that we might want to talk about. Who would your realistic signing for Liverpool be?
What in?
I mean, you've got Cody Gakpo. Just pretend you never got Cody Gakpo
in January.
Yeah.
Amrabat. Realistic and player that we need. Newcastle.
I don't really know, because we have a striker in Isaac, but he's a little bit injury prone, and Callum Wilson
is also injury prone.
I think Callum Wilson wasn't injured from the last game. It just had a bit of extra rest to come back from World Cup or whatever.
But he is injury prone.
He is injury prone, yes, but he's had a very long stint now.
Yeah.
I would say we need a winger. I'd personally sell Maximum in January or coming summer.
Yeah.
I mean, if Manchester United want maximum, I'd have to send them to Man U. Maybe someone like Depay I'd like. I mean, we've been quoted £5 million for Depay.
Yeah, I would take the hands off on that.
Yeah. I mean, you probably have him at Liverpool for £5 million.
Yeah. Have you seen there's also linked to Matthias Thuram from Mönchengladbach, which would be a brilliant signing as well.
A very versatile player is what we need as well.
Yous are highly linked to signing Jorginho in January as well.
I really don't want him.
Because apparently, Chelsea, I think, are going to start sort of a rebuild with Jorginho's going to leave and Kante's going to leave.
Yeah.
And
that maybe looks like Declan Rice could be going to
I've said Chelsea it for so long, is Declan Rice to Chelsea.
But yeah, Thuram, very big, powerful player we saw in the World Cup. He is very powerful. Someone like Rafael Leao obviously probably wouldn't come to someone like us. He looks quite like a humble player. He doesn't look like he's an ego. He looks like he really enjoys his football.
He does, but with that is he enjoys it slightly too much and forgets to release the ball sometimes.
And I think, when you're pulling off strikes like he did in the World Cup, I don't think you could be too angry at someone like that.
Yeah, fair.
Like, he always has a smile on his face when he's playing, you can see it. And he's got quality to take, and he does release it time.
Have you seen that winger that Arsenal are trying to sign from Shakhtar Donetsk? Yeah. He looks decent, but have you seen how much they want from him?
They want like 70, 80
No.
Well, how much?
100 plus. The chairman
played in Ukraine, man.
The chairman came out and said he wants Jack Grealish sort of money for him. Yes, he looks like a good footballer. He really does.
I'm paying 100 million
for but 100 million for him.
I'm paying 100 million.
The thing is about him is, where's he going to start?
There's no offense, you're not getting in that Arsenal team.
Where's he going to start, really?
And you're not paying 70. They offered like 50 million for him as well and had that rejected.
Yeah, but they've already had a 90 million flop winger in Nicolas Pepe. Do you think they're going to chance that again?
No, not a chance.
Which is just absolute. But we could talk about transfer fees for ages now. Transfer fees are just stupid now.
Yeah.
And I said the same thing with Darwin Núñez coming into us in the summer. Is his transfer fee was extortionate.
Yeah.
In 80 million. But I always try and go away from the topic of conversation. Like, everyone goes, Darwin Núñez is shocking because he costs us 80 million. I'm like, just forget about the price, because...
Forget about the price tag.
Alright, okay. Because if you sign any player these days, they're going to cost you a lot of money. Like, West Ham want like 150 million for Declan Rice. Is Declan Rice a £150 million pound player? No. But in today's market, that's the prices you're going to pay. Is Caicedo £70 million player? No.
Brighton are going to have a lump sum of money, aren't they? Like, they've got cash behind them, like, realistically.
Big time.
They've got Cucurella money. Obviously, they had Dan Burn money, but he came to like youth or something like that from them. Well, actually, saying that, he was youth at...
Darlow.
Yeah, Darlow, sorry.
But like, any player that you're looking to sign in these days just costs stupid amount of money.
I'd love to get Dan Burn on the podcast.
Yeah, I know.
I genuinely love to get him on the podcast.
Do you know what I'm thinking about now?
Mm-hmm.
Just to jump back on a Liverpool for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Is the reason why Gakpo joined massive pulling power of Virgil van Dijk. And I'm talking about versatile midfielders that we need. And now I'm thinking about financial situation of Barcelona and Frankie de Jong.
Ooh.
Could there be a chance that we get Frankie de Jong?
There's a good potential.
Because I'll be gassed.
I mean, to be fair, Frankie de Jong might want to come to Champions League football.
You aren't getting Champions League though. You're just going to finish 8th.
No, you probably don't have Champions
League football next season.
You won't have Champions League football next season.
So. But I think that about wraps up today.
I think that wraps up today. Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year, and we'll be back consistent, and we'll see what interviews we can wangle in the new year as well.
There's a big one that has some potential.
There's some potential. We'll see. We've got to speak to agents now, which is stupid to think about. But yeah, go check out our TikTok page, because like you found out in this video, we are rather consistent on TikTok.
We tend to keep it 3 videos a day on TikTok as much as we possibly can.
As much as we can. Christmas period's been full of eating and drinking, so allow that a little bit.
Yeah, we had a week period where we weren't posting as much, but with the new year coming, 3 videos a day, a video every week on the YouTube channel, and we're going to try to bring 1 or 2 interviews per month.
Yeah. If you are F1 fans and you're watching this, go check out our F1 videos as well. It is difficult at the minute because, off season and that. But go check out our previous videos on them.
We've got a few video ideas for that.
We do, yeah. But other than that, comment and subscribe.
So that wraps it up for today. Thank you very much for watching, everyone.